Department of Social Development has said that adoption agencies should no longer charge money for adoptions, and it is not a business but a protection measure. And according to the department, the state is already taking financial responsibility for all designated child protection services, which must include adoption services. The Department of Social Development has started consultations to amend the adoption fee clause in the Children's Act in 2016. And joining us now is Lumka Olifant, a spokesperson for the Department of Social Development. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, and thank you for having us.
So this is a very important issue, the issue of adoption. But explain to us what necessitated this particular step.
One, there are two issues that we're doing in terms of amending the Children's Act when it comes to adoptions. One is to include social workers of government. In the past, currently, not in the past, the department social workers are not doing adoptions. It is done by private individuals who are in the child protection space. Therefore, we are saying now that the service should be free, it should be accessible to everybody, and government should start also offering the service. So this is also trying to make sure that we the services of children are just consistent and uniform across the board. So another issue then is the issue of fees. As you had said in your intro, you said that our government is already taking care of the financial issue for all children's services. So we are doing the same now with adoptions. This is basically what we're trying to do. In our research, we have found that some of these agencies were charging from anything between 3,000 and 600,000. So we are saying that we're not commodifying our children. This is a service, it's a statutory a service for children. Therefore, anybody, anywhere, whether you're in a rural area or in a wealthy, you should be able to walk into a government office and get the service.
And which makes sense, when you talk about commodifying, because when you get up to a figure of 600,000 Rand, in your consultations, what was the explanation as to why it would cost up to that much to process this adoption?
You would not hear much reasons, except that it is a specialized area. People need to do administration, they need to pay lawyers, psychologists, and so forth and so forth. But also, if you're doing foster care, those services are needed because people have to go out and investigate the homes, make sure people are screened, and the courts are involved. So we are saying that it should be done the same way as well for adoptions.
So just reading through what was happening here, Lumka, there are 23 civil society organizations that form part of the National Child Care and Protection Forum. So what is their role that they play in the adoption process and also their input into these changes?
It's not just for adoptions. It is all child protection services, but adoption is but one of those services. Some are saying that the department is not right in doing this. Some are supporting it. So that is why we have to go now through the parliamentary process, so that again we can have more public participation and people can make their submissions to say, is this the step in the right direction? But the department believes that it is.
And which is why we are raising this today as well, because it is a very important issue and it's going to be very important for the public to weigh in on this particular matter. But those who are critical, those who are saying that the department is perhaps overreaching, what is their pushback? What are they saying?
They are saying that it is a specialized service, but we're saying already we have trained about 889 social workers to add on. They are saying that a lot of things, Sakina, that they need admin services, they need to take lawyers and go and visit. But we are saying that money should be money that goes to the prospective adoptive parent for them to be supported instead of going to these agencies. But most importantly, if you are in a rural area as well, you must be able to go to a social development and apply to adopt a child.
Now, of the concerns that they raise, are there any that the department deems valid?
That's very hard to to reply to, Sakina. But I think everybody's concern is valid, which is why we all go out and give more chances to people to write and make submissions, so that all those can be, considered and consolidated. Which is why we had gone for gazetting and making sure that people form part of everything that we are doing. We are going to continue doing it as we go to Parliament.
So on average, right now, as you and I are sitting here now on the 11th of January 2019, how long does it take on average for an adoption process to be completed from start to finish?
It is a long process, Sakina. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not a long process. It is a long process because we have to make sure that the children that we give to adoptive parents are suitable to look after children. The child will go to a protective home, a loving home, and there won't be any issues. And most importantly, Sakina, sometimes people need that cool-off period where you decide now you don't want to adopt anymore. I don't want to adopt to give my child for adoption. So we need to also look at those issues to make sure that children are given to the right people in protective homes, because it's a service on behalf of government, if you remember, because we are responsible for making sure that our children are looked after. Therefore, the process is rigorous, the process is long, the process is thorough, so that it's in the best interest of our children.
So on average, how long does it take?
It should take about 6 months, but it does take longer because there are other also departments like your Justice Department that has to look into it and declare you. There's Home Affairs as well, where you have to be able to change, the child's identity and so forth and so forth.
And is the department sufficiently capacitated to deal with this as expeditiously as possible?
We try, Sakina. We know that we have a shortage of social workers, that we are doing this cognizant of the fact that we don't have enough social workers, but people must get the service. Children have to be protected as we try to give protection services to them.
Lumka Wolifant, thanks so much for stopping by. Very important issue concerning child adoption. And Lumka Wolifant, spokesperson for the Department of Social Development, saying that adoption agencies should not charge money in adoption processes. And of course, once this is gazetted, I think it is very important that the public actually weighs in and gives their view on this particular matter.